Hello, my name is Jared Romano. Today we're going to take a tour of our trip management solution, GoMethod. GoMethod is an all-in-one tool to automate your missions trips, youth retreats, camps, conferences, and local outreach. You can learn more about GoMethod by going to fullmethod.com/go. In today's conversation, we're going to take a deep dive into our trip management solution. Today we'll talk about three separate personas. One, what does it look like to be interested in a trip? Two, what does it look like to manage a trip? And three, what does it look like to go on that trip? Let's get started with trip interest. Every organization gets their own trip landing page through GoMethod. Here, you can list your trips, community organizations, and even outreach groups. Let's take a look into the trip management itself. This organization decided to add filters to their landing page. They've chosen campus, purpose, region, when, and who. You'll be able to choose any number of filters and customize them yourself. Now let's scroll down and find a trip that we're interested in going on. Here we'll select Lebanon. You'll be able to have your image, the name of the trip or the event, a description, trip details, a contact person, and the funding milestones you would like those participants to achieve. Once I'm ready to apply, I can simply apply here, or click the Can't Go Give button to donate to the fund as a whole. As I mentioned, GoMethod can also be used for camps, retreats, and local outreach. Here's an example of a trip landing page for local outreach. Here they have it filtered by campus and event type. I can choose to serve the city in these different areas. Simply click here and apply for the event. Once again, the benefits of hosting local outreach through GoMethod is 1, a dedicated website for those events, 2, the ability to run a background check on those participants, 3, add them to a group within your CHMS, 4, gather any assets that you need along the way, and 5, having a reminder system to communicate with your participants. Now let's get into basic trip management. Here we have the overview of an administrator of the platform. Here I can see my events, serving opportunities, local outreaches, admin, and usage. Additionally, we can see our events by trips, camps, and general events. And we even have the ability to break those down by what we call affinity groups, which are usually different departments of your organization. Things like men's ministry, student ministry, women's ministry, or all the groups in one view. Now let's scroll down to an event we have already in progress. When I first click on an event, I see our dashboard. Here I can see my countdown to departure, my action events, my percent raised for the team, and my checklist for the team. We even provide real-time engagement metrics so that you can see percentages of what your team is engaging in. Next, we have details. Details are all the information that we prompt you for when creating the trip or event. Information like event ID, event type, travel dates, event dates, registration dates, head count, age range. All of this information is here for you. As we scroll down, we'll see funding milestones, team member types, and post-approval requirements. Let's start with funding milestones. The best part of GoMethod is all interactions with your participants are due date driven. Funding milestones guide your participants through your financial expectations of them and give them due dates on which to be measured. So if I have $450 of my $500 for my second payment, I'm going to be sent a reminder email telling me, great job for my $450, but I have $50 to go to meet this funding milestone. Next is our team member types. Team member types can be fully customized. In this example, we have team leader and team member, and let's take a deeper dive. By clicking the edit button, I can fully customize either of these personas or add an additional one. Let's add one here today. We can call it prayer partner. We can decide whether the person is to be a member or a leader. We can make this invite only. We can have team member type specific pricing and when that pricing will take effect and add additional levels to that. We can add a specific application for this persona type and choose if this persona type requires a background check or requires references. Next, we have prerequisites and post-approval requirements. In prerequisites, at the time of applying, we can ask several requests from the participant. In this example, we're asking them to sign a medical release during the application process. Post-approval requirements happen after the approval of the individual. All of these are due date driven, so from user uploads to administrative tasks to a concept called download and upload, question forms, and even signing digital documents, All of these are due date driven to drive the participant through your process in your timeline. Once a requirement is overdue, GoMethod will send an automated email on your behalf communicating 3 pieces of information. 1, what items am I behind on completing? 2, what are my upcoming requirements? And 3, where am I financially in the fundraising process? Also, you have the choice of whether these requirements are for the leader or the participant. Next, let's check out our application process. Here, I can see an individual, click on their profile, make the action to accept, where I can send them a welcome message, add any confidential notes I may need, and determine if he is responsible for fundraising or not. Additionally, I can see his profile questions, application questions, emergency contacts, references, and background checks all in one view while going through the approval process. Additionally, as an admin, I can see their profile, trip story, where they are in their requirements process, the individual funding of that individual, any notes, whether profile notes or confidential notes, and a highly requested feature we had, the ability to move someone from one trip to another in a single click, while also determining whether they're going to be a team member or a team leader on that next trip. Our next and most exciting view is the view of our team members. Here, I can mouse over these individual requirements and see where every person is in their process of going on our trip. I can see their funding, I can see their requirements, and I can see whether or not somebody is a team leader or a team member. And once again, each one of these profiles is clickable and editable by an administrator. Another highly requested feature that we had is the ability to send all of this information to PDF. You have the ability to create your own custom PDFs, or in this example, we have everything in the kitchen sink, which will download all of the questions, profiles, and assets being driver's license, passport, signed documents into a PDF prior to your departure. Next, we have funding. Here, all electronic payments will be recorded automatically. So please find your payment merchant or feel free to research our partners at fullmethod.com. One thing I like to mention in our funding is our ability to leave an audit log behind every action that you make. So as we begin to transfer funds, we're always leaving breadcrumbs around for our systems. The reason we do that is because we make it so easy for you to transfer funds. You can transfer funds to team members, you can transfer funds to a different event, or you can transfer funds to another person on another event, all in one click. Also, you have the ability to issue refunds, remove donations, and take specific notes on that transaction. Our next tab is our flight details. Here we partner with 2 organizations, AFC Travel and High Point, to bring you the best flight itinerary experience in trip management. Once requested, all information from your trip ID, status, progress, down to your payments, your contact agents, any attachments associated with it, as well as the ability to sign relevant paperwork are all available here. In addition, the itineraries are listed below and are coming from the airline's API. So if there's a delay, cancellation, change in location, all of that information is going to be reported back to you, the organizations, as well as we will carry this flight information over to your participants so that they will be able to check their own flight status without having to ask you many times over. Next, we'll look at another partner in our insurance space. Here we have partnered with Faith Ventures to ask your participants to purchase short-term insurance plans starting at $30, or you as the organization can purchase plans for your entire trip. Once here, the individual or the organization enters their order number and last name and finds their policy, and this pre-populates for everyone to see. Here we've partnered with Faith Ventures to provide travel insurance for your trip goers. Here they can purchase short-term plans starting at $30, or you as an organization can purchase plans for the entire team. Once purchased, simply add your order number and last name, and we will pre-populate all of the information for everyone. Next, we have our meetings. As an administrator, I can have all of my basic details here. We've even updated it to host your Zoom meeting addresses. I'll be able to take attendance and send reminder emails for what meetings are upcoming and who they are for. Next is our discussion tab. Here, as leaders, we can post scripture verses, relevant information, or communicate with the group as a whole. Also, this presents a communal space for your trip participants to get to know one another. Lastly, we get to our admin tab where we can invite people for additional help, whether they're going on the trip or not. On the right-hand side, we have additional permissions where someone can manage the requirements, do confidential interview notes, manage the meetings. Here's just a section for you to get additional assistance on your Cuba specific trip rather than giving them access to the entire Go Method platform. Lastly, we have our trip status. Every trip starts in setup mode. Next, you have to launch your trip. Once the trip is launched, it will be visible to applicants and team leaders. Participants can apply and begin filling out their requirements, as well as begin fundraising. This also triggers our billing to begin. All trips and events are $20 per event per month, up to 20 participants. Those trips over 20 participants increase in $10 bands for 10 participants. An example, a 28-person trip or event will be $30 per month. Now, once we return from the trip, we will go down to our status and archive this trip. This triggers billing to end, and your participants will no longer have access to their event. Administrators, however, will always have access to this information. The trip will just be in an archive status. All right, we're almost done. On to one more persona, and that is the trip-going participant. The trip-going participant has a very similar view to what the admin just saw, except for them, everything is personalized. Here we have our personal countdown to departure, how much I've raised to date, and how many items of the checklist I've completed. Additionally, I'll see my recent giving history, my social fundraising page, and any upcoming meetings. Here is a quick look at my social fundraising page. It will have your logo, your color scheme, your image of the event or trip, my profile picture, and my story attached. Here you can see I'm excited to go. This is going to be awesome. And I'll show you where I'll edit that in a moment, as well as your payment merchant attached below. Now on to details. Here you provide the information relevant to the participant and what they need to know. Trip story is where I edit my story for my social fundraising page. Funding is where I come to make a payment towards my trip or event goal. Now, checklists. Checklists are 90% of the reason your participants are coming to this platform. Everything from their medical releases to uploading information to getting items notarized and passport information. All of that is completed here in our checklist area with due dates driving all of the processes. And of course, all of this can be viewed in a mobile environment. Next is our insurance tab, which can be toggled on or off as it is a third-party option. And this is where participants can see their insurance if they've purchased it, or if you, the organization, have purchased it on their behalf. Next are the meetings I need to attend. After that, we have our team members and who I'm going on this event or trip with. No sensitive information is shared. And finally, a discussions tab so I can interact with those team members. As you can see, our heart for this platform is to be self-provisioning. From your dashboard of what information is relevant to you, trip details, my individual trip story and why I would incentivize people to donate to me, the ability to make a payment under funding. Once again, checklists are the entire reason I'm logging into the system and completing those goals prior to departure. Insurance is the ability to find a short-term plan at an affordable rate to protect myself on these trips or events. Meetings are where I need to be and when. And team members are who I'm going there with. And if I have any questions, I can always ask them in the discussion. Lastly, I have preferences to allow one, visible for public support on your trip landing page, reminders for requirements and fundraising goals, new discussion notifications, new discussion comments, new applications if I'm a team leader, and daily participant update if I'm a team leader. All in all, it is our goal to help automate your trip management process, gathering applications, fundraising, and the requirements it takes to go on these events or international trips are all ways this software can save you upwards of 100 hours per trip you manage. We're so excited that you're trying out our software, and please let us know if you have any additional questions along the way. Our heart is that we would help you free up time so that you would have more time for ministry and not waste so much time on administration. Thank you so much for your time today, and we hope to see you in an implementation class soon. Take care.